Well, hi to my YouTube subscribers. So I just did a visa run from Patong Beach in Phuket to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I thought my viewers would like to know how that went. So I left my hotel in Patong Beach at around 9:30 a.m. and walked over to the Smart Bus stop that's located right by the police station that's right where Bangla Road meets the beach. As I was walking towards the bus stop, the bus actually was coming towards me, and I flagged it down. I got a seat on the bus. The bus costs 100 baht. There's a schedule, but the bus is often off schedule because it's coming all the way from Rawai Beach in the south. The bus took about an hour and 15 minutes, but in traffic, the trip can take a lot longer. So leave yourself plenty of time. The bus left me off at the domestic terminal at Phuket Airport. I walked over to the international terminal. So I was taking a flight leaving at 1:30 p.m. from Phuket and arriving in Kuala Lumpur at 4 p.m. local time. So that's an hour and a half flight plus a 1 hour time change. Just a word about buying these tickets. Most of the flights from Phuket to Kuala Lumpur are operated by AirAsia. Now, what I normally do is I check these flights on kayak.com, and then I check them also on the AirAsia website. If the price on the AirAsia website is close, then I'll buy directly from AirAsia. Now, on kayak.com, different agencies will offer different prices, and very often the cheapest ticket is offered by kiwi.com. But I've had a lot of trouble using kiwi.com, particularly with the payment processing. So even if it's a little more expensive, I generally go with Orbitz or Travelocity. If you buy directly from the AirAsia website, you need to be a little bit careful because their site is complicated. I think it's complicated intentionally because they want to slip in some extras, for example, travel insurance. So make sure you don't inadvertently buy travel insurance. Make sure to uncheck boxes that they check automatically. So I went through customs exiting Thailand at the Phuket airport. There was maybe a 5-minute line to get the exit stamp, and I got the exit stamp with no problem. The hour and a half flight to Kuala Lumpur was very comfortable. When I arrived in Kuala Lumpur, there was no line at immigration. I just handed them my passport and the boarding pass, and they stamped my passport for entry. Then I went to the food court at the KLIA 2 terminal. I had lunch. There's a very nice vegetarian restaurant there. And after lunch, I went up to check in for my flight back to Phuket. I checked in, went through the exit process to exit Malaysia, which again was very straightforward. There was no line. They just stamped my passport for exit. And then I waited for my flight. My flight was at 9:25 p.m., arriving in Phuket at 9:40. Again, an hour time difference, and this time a flight time of an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to insert a brief advertisement here about something I'm very excited about. The audiobook of my novel Slaughtering Girl has just become available on audible.com. It's read by the excellent voice artist Kathleen Strecker, and she's really done a wonderful job here. Slaughtering Girl is the story of a girl born in China in the final years of the last Chinese dynasty. Now, under the guidance of her grandmother, she's recognized as a prodigy in the art of slaughtering fowl, and she performs all over China. Slaughtering Girl is an epic love story, but it also tells the story of modern China, from the fall of the Qing dynasty through the rise of communism and the rise of China as an economic power under Deng Xiaoping. So I hope you'll join in this adventure of the Slaughtering Girl. Slaughtering Girl can be purchased on audible.com, and I'll put a link in the description of this video describing how you can buy the book. Now back to my visa run. So I took the flight from Kuala Lumpur airport back to Phuket, and when I arrived in Phuket, the Phuket airport was really quite crowded. When I got to immigration, I had a wait of about 25 minutes. I actually could have gotten on the priority line because I'm over 60, but I forgot to do that. But this will give you an idea of how long the line was. It took about 25 minutes to get to an agent. When I got to an immigration agent, She just wanted my passport and my boarding pass. She did not ask for an onward ticket, and I was through very quickly. Now, when I got out to the terminal, the smart buses were no longer running. So I had planned to take one of the shared vans to Patong Beach. They cost about 180 baht. But it turns out that they don't run them at night. You need to get a dedicated taxi, which costs 800 baht. Now, being cheap, I decided I would see if I could do it for a little less. So I walked outside the airport. There's an archway just outside the airport that says Bon Voyage, and it has a picture of the king. And just by that arch, you'll see that there are a bunch of taxis that you can take. So regular taxis are not permitted to pick up passengers inside the terminal area, but you can get a regular taxi outside the terminal area that will charge you a little less than the 800 baht that you're charged at the terminal. So I actually used the InDriver app to get a taxi there, and I paid 660 baht, which was a small saving. I'm not sure that it's worth it. I was back to my hotel pretty quickly. I would say that in general, it was a pretty easy visa run. I had thought about doing the visa run overland. Originally, I thought I would go to Ranong and cross over there. But when I went to the service that does this, they told me that the crossing at Ranong wasn't open, or at least they weren't doing that crossing. And they were running buses to Setun, which is about 7 hours and 15 minutes on Google Maps. Now, I was going to do this, but my Thai teacher told me that one of her students did this and had a terrible experience, that the driver was falling asleep, that it was dangerous, and it seemed like a single driver driving for more than 14 hours, that's a pretty dangerous situation. So I decided to opt for doing it by air. If any of you have recently done the overland trip, I'd be interested in having your comments. But definitely the trip by air is not that expensive if you're able to get some decent tickets, and it was certainly a very easy trip. Now, I do want to send a shout out to Sally and Steve. So I was having lunch at Patong Beach, and a woman came over and she said hello to me by name, and I didn't know who she was. It turns out that she recognized me from my YouTube videos. This is the first time that happened, so I think that makes me officially famous. It turns out that Sally and her friend Steve are taking classes at the Patong Language School where I'm taking classes, and we had a very nice dinner together. So shout out to Sally and Steve. Thank you for watching my videos. So that's it for today. If you had experience with these visa runs, let me know in the comments section. Okay, well that's it for now. See you next time.